Welcome, my name's Paul O'Donoghue from SalesStar. Today I have a guest with me, Alan Parker from Global Biz Pro. Welcome, Alan.
Hi, Paul.
Alan's here to share an extraordinary story of someone who was fearful of cold calling to someone who's broken through those barriers and now, I would say, is a fearless hunter. 7 weeks ago, Alan, when we started working together, could you share for the audience what some of the problems that you experienced in terms of your selling ability, specifically around cold calling?
Well, I've just started into my role recently and had to start building a pipeline. So where do you start building a pipeline? Cold calling. Now, I had the big fear at that stage. The fear of cold calling. I didn't know what to do, didn't know where to start, didn't know how to actually tackle this. I didn't think it could be done for our industry.
So you had a whole lot of self-limiting beliefs? I
had a lot of self-limiting beliefs in there. At the time I thought they're very real, but through the work that we've done together, I think we've overcome a number of those and we're working on a lot more.
Yeah, because fear can actually stop people being effective. The acronym for fear really is false evidence appearing real, but they seem so real at the time when you were having those fears.
Oh, you've hit the nail on the head there, Paul. Absolutely. The fears I had would all be, I'd consider now to be irrational fears. The fear of rejection, the fear of making an idiot of myself. None of those came true, and I've now proven to myself that I can get past those barriers and move on.
So you've proved yourself that you've overcome these barriers. Now, what sort of steps did you take to overcome those barriers and start transforming?
Well, I went through the assessment, and the assessment highlighted to me a certain number of areas of my own weaknesses which I needed to work on. And one of those was a lot of the hidden weaknesses that I have there. The need for approval was a key one of those.
Right.
Now, I like to be liked, but what I was achieving in my cold calling was not necessarily aligned to being liked. So I've had to change the philosophy of doing that. And we did that through the development of some cold calling scripts, using positioning statements. And I felt safe using these in terms of the phone calls from there.
Okay, so giving you a script to feel safe, that's enabled you to pick up the phone. And what sort of results have you got from those scripts?
Well, a lot more confident myself. So the pipeline is building, but the key to this is the confidence to go out there and just do it. And that's the biggest thing I've got so far.
Awesome. And apart from the cold calling, what were the other steps in the process to transforming those results?
Well, it's taken the little ones. Where I was looking for the need for approval beforehand, I'm now looking for the need for respect and working along those sides. So no longer am I caring about whether I'm liked or not. Of course, I like to be liked, but now I'm looking like I prefer to believe in the value that I can give back to them as well. So the belief in myself, but the belief in the offering that we've got as well.
So your whole belief system has changed, reprogrammed your belief systems.
Oh, in the last 7 weeks I've changed a lot, and the beliefs is the core to that.
Yes. One of the extraordinary breakthroughs we had was the little exercise we did when I tipped you out of the car and we started knocking on doors. Would you like to share that experience?
Yes, well, sitting at a desk and doing cold calling was never much of an appeal to me, and even once I've broken through the barriers, it was limited appeal to me. So went through an exercise and drove around the neighbourhoods, saw the businesses that were going to be calling and called them from there. Now, I was on a bit of a high after that, so I told Paul about that, and for our next coaching session, we thought we'd run that through it again. We pulled up outside the first place. Paul asked me what I'm going to do, so as all great students do, I pulled out the material from behind me and said, here's my script, let's get into it. To which Paul opened the door and said, no, let's go inside. Now, normally that would have created great fear for a salesperson. But the belief I had in myself was, yeah, let's go and do this. And I think that was a big mind shift for myself as well. That breaking down the barriers, if Paul had tried that a week earlier, I wouldn't have gotten out of the car. I would have waited till he stepped out and driven off. The week we did it, absolutely fantastic. And that was a really fun day.
It was a fun day. And what sort of success did you have from that day, Alan?
Out of 14 businesses we called through, we got 8 to actually have face-to-face, and I've got 2 follow-ups from there as well. And in our environment, those leads are invaluable in that regard.
And that wasn't actually a whole day of door knocking, was it? It was less than 2 hours?
Less than 2 hours on a wet Friday afternoon.
Fantastic. And in terms of what have you experienced through this whole process and breaking down some of the barriers to cold call and filling up your pipeline, what are some of the intangible things that have happened to you?
Well, they're largely unmeasurable and it's hard to describe. You see me on video now, I'm a different person than I was 2 months ago. And the confidence that I've got going forward, not only in my business life now, but also where I'm seeing my personal goals and developing it through there has been the key changes. We're starting to see a lot more progression through the pipeline for sales, but likewise, I'm actually feeling confident about where those sales are and where they're coming from as well.
And in terms of your sales results this month, where are we sitting?
Well, not two big deals in the head last week, so we're sitting pretty well.
Yeah, exceeding your budgets?
Exceeding budget.
Fantastic. Those are the results we like to hear, Alan.
And thank you to sales staff for that.
You too can have a breakthrough in your results in cold calling. It's easy. Have a look at the URL address, salesstar.com. Contact us if you want breakthrough results. Break down those barriers, fill your pipeline. There are literally an abundance of opportunities out there. You've just got to go and find them. Be brave, break through those fears, get a good script, and you can transform your results.